Well guys, welcome back to Manor Lords. In the first episode we were able to get our settlers going in our quaint little village of Altbrook. We managed to construct a church. We were also able to get our timber industry going. We of course managed to get some housing for all our settlers. We also managed to get our forager hut going for some berry collection, as well as our hunting camp for some meat gathering. In episode 2 we will be focusing on growing our community, setting up some trade to get an influx of coin, and to see if we can level up our town further, even adding a few houses to get some more settlers and families to join us in this pursuit of conquering our rival at the end. So welcome to episode 2 guys. If you haven't watched the first one, be sure to go and do so. I really do appreciate all of your support. So let's get going. Manor Lords episode 2. This one is named Stepping Stones for a reason. As you see right here in front of me, we've got some stones lying around in the center of our village. So I'll definitely go ahead and we can get those stones gathered. First things first. Let's build a stone gatherer camp so that we can remove all that rubble from the center of town, and we can also put it to use, maybe even convert it into some coin. So as I mentioned in the intro, we have our timber industry going quite strong. We've got one family gathering some firewood or fuel for us, a second family is just logging away, getting in that timber, and then we've also got a guy on the saw pit. As you'll see, once we start leveling up things, we won't need as much plain timber but more planks to build all the things that we need to do. So I'm going to fast forward. Once they've constructed that stone gatherer camp, we'll get people on that immediately to start picking up these stones. Of course, once again, with the logistics, the timber camp being all the way on the other side of the river, it will take some time for them to get everything to this side of town. But I do believe it's quite important that we get these stones picked up just to make a bit of space for ourselves. So there you can see it's finished, and we'll immediately assign a family so that they can start collecting. One of the other things that I also want to do is just check up once again on our food collection facilities. We've got the berries going, and we've also got the hunting camp going. As you'll see, our food is looking really good at this stage. About 14 months left of food, and then 11 months left for fuel. So the food production or gathering will start going down momentarily. As you can see, we are already in October, and winter will be from December to February, which means the wild animals will reduce. They will stop reproducing anyway, and then the berries, as you can see, it's already shrinking. At the moment there is nothing left, and I believe we'll only be seeing new berries in the new season. So we'll remove this family from the forager hut so that we have some additional laborers. I'll just add another family to the stone gathering camp so that we can get the stones removed quicker. What I'm going to do next is I'll add some more burghage plots. As you'll see, we have no available space for new people to move in. And what I'm thinking with this particular one, I don't think I'll have enough timber just quite yet. But I don't want to add so many burghage plots anyway. I'm thinking of using up this entire space to maybe just add 1 or 2 burghage plots. The reason for that being is we want to grow some vegetables in their gardens, and the bigger the burghage plot or the yard, the bigger the vegetable fields will be, or the vegetable gardens, so that we can get some additional food coming in to our settlement and into our granary. So we'll just hold off on that a bit. You see we have 4 timber at this stage. What I'll do is I will just look at the saw pit once again to see, you see they limit or they reserve about 4 timber. That is not nearly enough, so I'm gonna up that to 15. So we'll always have 15 timber in stock or in surplus, and I'll remove this family from the saw pit for a while and add them to the logging camp so that we can get that timber in quicker. As you would have just seen, we now have 2 oxen in our settlement. Oh, and a message: resources stolen by the nearby bandits. We will have to get rid of that bandit camp as soon as possible. But before we do that, I believe we will have to get a few more settlers so that we can build up our militia. Another message that the storehouse is full. So this we will need to upgrade. That cost 2 timber and 16 planks. Let's get that done as well. There we go, construction finished. Now our storehouse will be able to hold at least 2,500 items. That's much better. I'll also take a look at our timber stock. We've got about 14, so I believe that'll be enough to get these large burghage plots constructed. We'll start on that right away. There we go, they say 14, but obviously, as I've said, I want to make them a lot larger. I think this will be perfect. So we will have room for 2 main burghage plots as well as expansions, which means 4 families will be able to live in this section, and then they'll have huge gardens at the back to be able to grow some veggies for us. Okay, so we'll speed it up once again a little bit. We don't want to be sitting around the whole day just checking how people build stuff. So we'll get it done a bit quicker. I think while we wait, I will also go ahead and remove 1 family from the logging camp. A few days has passed indeed, so we do have enough timber in reserve at the moment, 16 to be precise. So once the construction year is finished, we will also put the 1 guy back, or the 1 family rather, back on the saw pit. Perfect, so the burghage plots have been built. Now, clicking on this one, it'll allow us to construct the expansion, which I also want to do immediately. Expansion finished on this first plot, which now means that we will have 2 families be able to move in here. So we've got a bit more space in our settlement for new families to join us, and then also later we'll just get started on these vegetable gardens. I think an important thing for us to do sooner rather than later is also to build a trade post. A trading post, we'll put it right here on the King's Road, on the main road, so that the access is easy for all the traders. And as you can see, winter is here. It's officially December and the snow has started to fall. So we are almost nearing the end of our first year in our settlement. Exciting. Now, clicking on these burghage plots will allow us to construct a backyard extension. What we want to do is to add a vegetable garden to both of these bigger plots. There we go. This will also require some goods for construction. As you can see at the bottom there, we require 2 planks for each of those vegetable gardens to be constructed. What I also want to do is check on the next settlement level requirements. So you will see that we require at least 5 level 1 burghage plots, which we definitely have. And then also we require at least 2 level 2 buildings. So let's get started on that as well. We'll upgrade this burghage plot to level 2, and there's a perfect example where you can see where we need the additional planks and not as much timber anymore. So we'll upgrade that one and this one to level 2. As you can see, they are hard at work upgrading that burghage plot to level 2. I just love the animations of these settlers working. I think it's brilliant, and I'm very excited to see what this game can actually become. And just like that, you can see snow is starting to stick to the ground. Winter is definitely upon us. So while they continue there, I think what we'll do is we'll just check on this hunting camp. There is still some wild animals, but I have set the reserve to 12. So you'll see they won't be breeding anymore, and we can now remove this family from the hunting camp. As you will see, no game in range or hunting limit reached, and they're just waiting. So let's go ahead and remove this family, which means there will be no more food coming into our settlement until summer. That's why it's so important to get these vegetable gardens also growing and going as early as possible, so that we can have some more food variety available during the summer months.
There we go.
Alright, so just taking another quick look at our timber industry. The woodcutter's lodge is still going, even though we have fuel for 15 months. We've got one family on the logging camp, so they'll just keep gathering timber. And then on the saw pit we also have a family working to generate some planks for us. I think what we definitely need to do is to add a forester's hut. So what this will allow us to do is add a family that will be planting trees throughout the summer and spring months. As you can see, we've cut away a bunch of trees already. We do have a lot of timber available, but we need to think about sustainability and being efficient. We don't want all our logging camp workers and woodcutters lodge workers walking so far to go and get that timber. So if we can start replanting trees in the closer vicinity, I think that'll be great. So one burghage plot has already been leveled up, which is that one. And this will then also allow us, once we have enough regional wealth, to start adding some artisan backyard extensions. So we can add a bakery, a blacksmith workshop, a brewery, and so forth. Mainly I like to focus on the bowyer's workshop first. That'll allow us to make bows out of the extra planks that we have, and with that we can also then make our militia or our army a bit stronger and expand into some archers as well. So there goes our trusty oxen and one of the settlers with a piece of timber. It will obviously be needed for construction on our trading post, I presume.
Pass me the hammer, will you?
And there we go, guys. Settlement level 2 has been reached. So we are now labeled as a medium village. And to level up to a large village, we will require 5 level 2 or higher burghage plots. We currently do have 2. So we'll get going on leveling up some more burghage plots here momentarily. Let's see, I think we can just go ahead and start it anyway. So that's 1, 2 and 3, which will bring us to a total of 5 level 2 buildings, and that'll cause our village to level up even further. We also had a few families move into our settlement, which is great. So we currently do have 5 unassigned families. All of them will be working on construction, but since we do have a few projects going on, that isn't really a bad thing. It does seem, when I look at the stone gatherer camp, that all of this stone have been collected, and there is nothing in the generic storage, which means all of it has probably already been moved to the large storehouse. And as you can see, there is our rubble stone in the storehouse, so we can go ahead now and demolish this building. The construction materials will be refunded, so that'll just go back into storage. And then we have opened up enough space here so that we can expand our living quarters or our burghage plots a bit more and see if we can get some additional families to join us once again. Now, seeing that the current fuel situation is looking good, we've got about 14 months of fuel left. What I'll do immediately is start construction on another little facility that'll help us. It's the charcoal kiln, and this will help us convert some of that firewood into charcoal. Charcoal can then be used for fuel in our village, as well as be sold at the trading post, which we have finished construction. We do not have a lot of stuff to trade at the moment. You can see the rubble stone isn't worth much. The export price will be about 1 coin, not really enough to make it sustainable. The planks as well, worth 1 coin, so it's not a lot. And then food wise, the berries, we do have plenty of that, but also not really worth as much as I would like it to be. So what we will be doing, I think I've got an idea. I think we will start adding a boyer shop, not a joiner shop, yeah, a boyer shop once we have enough coin. So we'll have to trade with some less valuable stock at the beginning, build up that coin reserve, and then we can start creating a boyer shop and also a joiner's workshop. This will allow us to make this one will allow us to make large shields, and this one will also allow us to make bows, which we can then sell at a higher price at our trading post. So I think that'll be our goal to work towards. The forester's hut has also been completed. We can go ahead and set the work area so long, but it will not be required to add a family just now because it's winter, so they won't be able to plant any new trees. I think we'll set the work area right here close to our timber industry, and then once the new year and spring comes along, then we'll add a family so that they can start working. So the current food surplus is still 9 months, which looks pretty awesome, because soon we will be able to start gathering berries and hunting for deer again. So I think we can go ahead and add some more burghage plots. The more labor we have, the quicker we can expand into some other operations. Settlement level reached, large village. That's good, so we've leveled up further. Let's go ahead and start adding some more burghage plots right over here. I'm going to keep these ones the same size as the two next to them. And then our settlers can start working on construction. Alright, so you can also see that our charcoal kiln has been constructed. So what I will do next, seeing that we have plenty of firewood, I'll remove this family from the woodcutter's lodge and I'll add them to the charcoal kiln. And then we can say that we always want 50 firewood in reserve. I don't really think there's a apparent reason for it. I just want it to be safe, but I think everything that you can do with firewood you can also do with charcoal. And seeing that the charcoal kiln will take 1 firewood and split it into 2 charcoal, it's actually a bit more efficient. So we'll just stop the production of firewood at this stage and maybe add another family. Seeing that we have so many unassigned families available, they can start making some charcoal for us.
Does that roof look straight to you? Or does it have a certain jaunty angle to it?
Alright guys, so we're just over here busy watching the construction of the last burghage plot that we have decided to build. All the other ones have already been built and we have families moving into our settlement, which is great. Also, the other advantage is the more families you have, the stronger your militia can be. We need men of fighting age, of course, if we want to firstly take on those bandits and then secondly conquer our rival at the end. And just like that, our last burghage plot has also been constructed. We now have space again for 3 new families to join us. I think what we need to do immediately before summer and spring arrives is we need to look at the farming industry once again. I think it's quite important to have as many sources of food as possible. So let's go ahead and look at this. I'm going to do rye because it's the most forgiving crop to do, and I believe right over here will be a perfect place for a rye field. So we will go ahead, and I think what we can do is just finish this road up first. Take it all the way to the back there, and then we can add a farmhouse right over there, and then we can also start with the construction of a rye field. I think we're gonna do it right over here. This will actually be quite a big field. I don't think I need to make it quite as big, so we'll stick within the dark green area where we have the most fertility. It's still quite big actually, but seeing that we have enough families available that's unassigned currently, we can all add them all to the farmhouse, and I presume they'll get a bunch of stuff done in time. And also, while we wait, seeing that we just did the construction of the farmhouse, we can also go ahead and immediately add a windmill Right next to it, you'll see the efficiency here is 98%. If we move closer to the trees, it goes down. In the trees, there's absolutely no efficiency because the trees will block the wind. The further you move away from the trees, the better your efficiency. So there we've got 100%, and it's ideal to build it just there. I also think we can start on the construction of another hitching post closer to our farmland. There we go, we've given all of our unassigned families a bunch of work to get done, and they are already on their way. So if they can manage to get this built by March or early spring, then we can immediately assign families to start working this field. We'll do rye. Crop rotation is interesting. If you keep planting crops, every year the fertility will go down, but if you leave 1 year for the field to fallow and just rest a bit, the fertility will increase again. So we'll do rye the first year, the second year we'll leave it as a fallow year, and the third year we'll do rye again. And construction is finished on our farmhouse. We'll upgrade it to a ploughing station, and that will then allow us to use an oxen to get most of the ploughing done, and it'll go a lot quicker that way. We need to set the priority to the highest priority because it is already March. I'm also going ahead and ordering a new ox so that we have one dedicated to the farmhouse. We also have a new message. Let's have a look. Raiders near. We received reports of a band of raiders roaming the nearby lands. Should we track their steps? Yes, definitely track their movements. That means we have 365 days to be ready for a raider attack. So we'll also need to make sure that we've got a strong enough militia to defend against those raiders. Okay, so let's finish up with this construction quickly. There we go, and immediately I will be adding a bunch of families. Let's do 8. So all of them will be ploughing by hand. And I will also add a permanent livestock assignment to one of our oxen. So as soon as they go and fetch him, he will be able to do the ploughing much quicker than the villagers will be able to do by hand. It is also much better to get your ploughing done before winter comes, and then the sowing can happen quicker. We don't want to miss the season. All the families leaving probably means that one of the families is on their way with an ox, and there we go. Now that little guy will definitely make short work of ploughing this field. While we wait, we can also ask them to upgrade it to a small stable, that little hitching post. That'll allow us to have 2 animals living in that stable. I'm now going to remove most of these families, seeing that you only need 1 to plow the field with the ox. And we'll take a look at our food situation. So food only 4 months, and as you can see, the deer or the wild animals have definitely recuperated their numbers. So we'll add a family to the hunting camp. We've also got berries growing at this stage. So I think we'll just leave that for a while longer till it gets to about halfway, and then we will add another family. Very important. If we look at our fuel supply, we've got 122 charcoal at the moment, and I also think that might be one of the first things that's worth trading. So let's go into fuel. Charcoal is at least 2 coins worth per trade, so we'll start exporting charcoal, and we'll say that we want a reserve of 50 to start with, and then we'll just keep watching those fuel levels. Now, for this to be happening, we need to add a family or 2 to the trading post so that they can take those resources, go out to other regions and trade it for cash. I also think what we will do once the sowing of this field have been completed. Why did we stop? I'm not sure why they stopped. That is a bit of an issue. So I will just add a few more families just so that we can try and get this done. Otherwise we will have no crop for this year. I think I waited a bit too long in constructing this farmhouse and this field. But never mind, we'll see if we can get that sorted out as quickly as possible. Nothing happening. That is not good, but we'll leave them to it and we'll see. Okay, there comes a lady with a plow. Hopefully they can finish that up quick. And then as soon as the sowing's done and the crop is in the ground, then we can relax a bit regarding the farming. And then what I want to do is I want to immediately start getting rid of these raider camps. As you'll see, there's a few raiders here messing about, and it's these guys that's stealing all my resources. So if we can get rid of them, it'll help a lot, and we will also be able to get a few resources from their camp if we manage to drive them away. We wanted to do the vegetable farming, but seeing as the seed costs money and we do not have any money at this stage, it's a bit of a problem. So I think what we can do, let's spice this up a bit, put a twist to the ending of this episode. We will gather our militia. We have 20 militia men now because we only have 20 spears and 20 shields. But let's rally them and go and get rid of that raider camp, and maybe we can just use the money or the coin that we get from that raid in order to start planting vegetables as well. So let's rally the troops right here. Of course, once you remove all these fighting men from the families, the efficiency of all the production in your town does go down quite a bit. So we need to make sure we get them back to town and back to work as soon as possible. What we need to do is to remove the run to position order, because that will eat into their stamina before the battle even begins. Now, let's get moving towards this raider camp. And there we go, our guys are marching away. We will most probably have a response from the raiders. Usually when they see you coming, they also gather their troops to start getting defensive and attacking you back. So let's see what is going on here. There you can see the raiders have already rallied all their troops as well. So I think what we'll do, we definitely have a disadvantage because we are on the lower ground, but we'll order our troops to form up in formation, and we'll ask them to take up a defensive stand.
Stay still.
Move them forward a bit. And so the battle begins. We've got one guy that's a bit late to the party, but never mind, he showed up. Seeing that we are fighting an uphill battle, literally, I'm gonna tell my guys to push forward now. Fighting in the rain. There we go, we have broken them. I believe they will start retreating. Unfortunately, they're going the wrong way, but never mind. They are done with. Well done, guys. We still have 20 men, so we didn't lose anyone. And a bunch of bodies that we will need to build a corpse pit for to get them cleaned up. But I think most importantly, let's go and collect the resources from this abandoned raider camp. And you can now run to position, guys. And there we go, our militia is arriving on scene at this raider camp. Let's see what they have gathered for us. When searching through the enemy belongings, you find a stash of goods. They could be sent to your people who surely need them, though it is your right to keep it. So for now, we are definitely sending the resources to the town. We need it for expansion. We do not pay any tax currently, and I don't even have my manor constructed yet, so there's nothing that I can do with it in my treasury at this stage. So we'll send it to the nearest town. And there you go, we now have some coin. With that, we can definitely start one of those vegetable gardens. I think it's very important that we get it done, and I think carrots will be a good choice to go for. There we go, and once again we don't have any money, but at least we'll have some food growing. Important to tell our militia to get back to the village, and they will run here. Let's just have a look at what's going on with our forage hut. So as you can see, the berries have grown a bit, and we can now add a family to the forager to start collecting berries once again. And the hunting camp is also going quite strong. I think we'll add another family. As you see, the wild animals are not really starting to go down all that quickly, so maybe we can get a bit of meat extra by adding another family to that. I also want to take a look at our farm. Plowing still in progress, even though it's already April. Yeah, I think we waited a bit too long on that one. Not sure if we'll be able to get a crop in this year, but nevertheless, the plowing needs to be done. Alright guys, here you have it, our militiamen, the heroes of our village, returning from the battle. Well done guys, and thank you for your service. I will now quickly disband this unit, and all the men will now get back to work. Well, guys, I do believe we have just about run out of time. So thank you very much for joining me on episode 2 of Manor Lords. I do believe this was a good stepping stone in the right direction. We've got the village leveled up, we've got a trade post built with some trading going on, we've got some vegetable gardens as well as a farm. So we'll definitely pick it up in episode number 3. Remember to like and subscribe if you enjoy the content. I really do appreciate you helping me build this channel and this community. Thank you, keep well, cheers.